What are you doing, honey?
I'll give you a thumbs up and everything.
Okay, hi there, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Right, we have another exciting evening of Qlash Pro Scrims for you. I don't think we're more than a few minutes away from starting game number 1, which of course will be on Erangel as always. I've got a very interesting lineup this evening. I'll be joined, obviously, co-casting by my good buddy Jammy Gaming. How are we doing this evening, Jammy?
I'm good, thank you, mate. All good. I'm looking forward to an exciting night of scrims.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we're too long away. Do you want to read through some of our teams tonight, Jammy? We've got quite a good selection in.
We certainly have, and there'll be some names you recognise. We've got in 3 Rice Gang. We've got Unicorns of Love, Black Sparks, UDR Killers, Nexus Gaming, GSG Europe, Destiny, Imperia, G3 Temper, Game Lord, Rescue, Eastern Stars, Scrim Farm, Team Umbra, Bulger Gaming, LMV, Night Target, and Execution Esports CIS, bringing up the last, but very much not least.
Yeah, so quite a few teams that anybody who's watched PMCO, PMPL scrims will have seen before. And we haven't got a team in from our hosts actually this evening, have we, Jammy?
It doesn't look like it, no.
Quick look at that. Okay. So we're at 7 p.m. UK time, so I can't imagine we are too long away from getting into game number 1. Certainly when we covered this event for Qlash a few weeks ago, it was a very, very competitive set of games. Very enjoyable to watch indeed.
It certainly was, and we had a very nice, lively chat as well. Hopefully we'll get the same this week as well.
I think we did have quite a few groupies in chat going mental. Yes, that was a lot of fun.
So we don't have S2G this week. So who's going to be in chat this week?
I think they did monopolise chat last time, as I recall. Hopefully not too far away. Just flick up the team list again for you there.
I think there may have been a couple of small delays. So we're not far away now.
So, and it does look like we're going to be going into the lobby for game number 1. So, yeah, happy hunting, boys and girls. Let's get into it.
Now, did Uncle Vimes remember about the lobby weapons?
Yeah. Well, Vimes gets deafened, yes. And okay, come on, in your load, please.
Yep, it's loading. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. It's doing its thing.
It likes to give me a heart attack.
It does.
Okay, I can hear footsteps. Oh, yes, there we go. Okay, so we're in the lobby. All you lunatics are already shooting at each other. And we're just a few seconds away from the start of game number 1. So, good luck, boys and girls. And we're on the plane, and first match on Erangel, as we've already stated, and there is our first flight line. So we're going from between Gatka and Quarry up just over Yasnaya, Jammy.
Yeah, it's quite a benign flight line, so southwest-ish to northeast-ish, but actually quite central. Now, this will help a lot of teams. They'll be going to their primary locations. What will happen, of course, is then we'll get an evil first zone, and people will have to travel 5,000 meters just to get to zone.
So we've already got a few people jumping quite early. We're going to follow Unicorns of Love down on their drop.
Sorting out some game volume. Apologies. There we go.
Yeah,
That's better.
so, yeah, distribution north and south of the flight line, Jammy.
We certainly have, yes. And quite strangely, I've just recognised that actually if a certain Siren is watching, Team 8 is who we got killed by in a classic match earlier.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
looks like one of the scouts from Unicorns of Love is already on the deck and getting some loot out. Doesn't look like we have too many people in hugely close proximity. We do have quite a few people jumping towards George Pole crates, though, Jammy.
We do. We've got the usual suspects over there. We've got I'm just trying to Black Sparks up around the crates. Now further east to them, we've got Team 12, the Game Lord. Now they're crossing over. They're going up.
And we've already got these two.
Rescue.
Yeah, they've got these two guys almost running into each other on their vehicles there, so they're more than aware of each other's presence. So you never know, we might be getting into some gunplay fairly soon. Straight up onto the crates, let the looting begin.
Yeah, I mean that's the good thing. They don't. They won't necessarily just take a
4-scope already with a Mini
shot.
14.
If they get the opportunity, they'll certainly take it for an early kill, but they won't risk losing a player to do it.
And that's not a bad loadout to jump on straight away. DP 28 Mini 14 and a 4-scope.
Very nice. So just west of here, we've got Rescue, and then just around the hospital area, we've got Night Target. So we do have a few teams up around this northwestern side, around the George Pole area.
Yep.
Now, the first zone has broken, of course, and it's going to be centred, the first zone, just northwest of Shelter. So around where the 3 roads meet, in the middle there. And nothing really too difficult. Now, LMV might need to take an early rotation because they are down in Primorsk.
So we have our friends from squad number 12 here, Game Lord, and who know that they've got Black Sparks across the way there, but nobody entertaining getting involved in a cross-border gunfight there. We're here with squad number 13, and that is Rez. It doesn't look like they've got anybody too close to them either. So, actually, we don't appear to have had a lot of early gunplay on the landing here, Jammy.
Oh, and that's partly because of the very ordinary, benign flight line. The teams know where they're going to go. They can all go to their primary location. So no one's forced to go where they know another team will be. Now, okay, you get a few going up to Georgia Pole, but they also know there's plenty of room for everyone.
Yep.
So they're not going to risk taking an early engagement. They don't have to.
Certainly, teams looking like they've occupied their normal or preferred agreed drop zone. So we've got one team in Yasnaya, one in Rozhok, one down in Milta, one over in Lipovka. So yeah, there is a bit of separation from the guys early on. So going for this looting stage, and we'll see how it comes with regard to the rotations. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of squads who are currently out to the west, having to fight their way in as the map gets a bit narrower there.
Yeah. Now, what might be interesting is we've got Team 7 down there, Nexus Gaming. Now, they've got a reasonable looting location. There's enough loot there around between the buildings for the players, but it's also potentially a pinch point. If any teams, I mean, there aren't at the moment, but they might not know that, teams coming over the Western Bridge, or teams coming over from Ferry Pier, Primorsk and Quarry, because they know that Gatka is likely to have players because they'll be coming down from hospital, they might actually try and rotate along that southern coast where Team 7 are.
Yeah. Okay, we're here with team number 10, Imperia. They're in Rozhok. Not a huge amount happening thus far. Looks like we've got a little bit of red zone coming in though, so we might as well have some sound effects.
Yeah. It would be a shame if one of them went down to the red zone.
No, you don't. That doesn't happen at this level. Well,
it certainly does. It definitely does. Nice to see how spread out they are with their looting there, Imperia. They've got one in Rozhok, one up on the hill, one in school, and one in apartments. So a really strong
certainly looking
statement of intent there.
Certainly looking to dominate this particular area of the circle, which is a bold play early on. And yeah, unfortunately, we're not actually...
Just looking over at Rescue, especially Coyote there. He's taken up a position on the opposite side of Black Sparks. Sorry. So they're actually coming in for a bit of a pincer movement here. The players from Rescue. No, they're actually leaving this. They're going to head to zone. They're not going to bother with it.
Some rounds being exchanged there, but well, now then. Starting to put some rounds back, but our Rescue simply looking to dominate the high ground here. They've also got elements of squad number 4, not too far away on their right flank. It's the boys and girls from Unicorns of Love. So rotation at the squad house here.
They are now. An interesting rotation. We've got GSG Europe, in particular Lau, team 8. Now he's at the edge of zone and he's trying to gatekeep against the guys from Night Target. You'll see their team 19, but just to the left of that player Exile, just slightly west of him is Lau, and Lau has actually been knocked.
So here we are with Night Target putting in the rounds there. So that's our
GSG Europe now down to 2 players. The other players are coming in. They're going for a bit of a drive-by here. They're not stopping at the moment.
So the 2 remaining players from GSG coming under a little bit of fire as they drive through.
Yeah, so GSG interesting. They're coming out of zone to try and rotate around, and they're going to now try and come in on the reverse side on the guys from Night Target.
So yeah, they've got out the vehicle. They know they've got a full squad there, not too far in front of them. They have lost 2 members of their team early. Now then, are we calling this discretion being the better part of valor and getting out? Probably the right call, I think.
It certainly is, yeah, it definitely is. Now, up in, north from here, just east of Georgia Pole, we've got Unicorns of Love holding a really good, now it's outside zone, but it's a really good strategic position, holding the 2 bridges just north of the river, east of Georgia Pole. So they've also got the guys from Black Sparks and as they rotate past.
Yep, and here we are with who's that? Ked. There we go. Putting some rounds in towards one of the players from Black Sparks there, making a few connections. Let's check out Phoenix. What's he having a look at? So yeah, as Jammy was saying, got a nice position on the bridge here, and certainly occupying some good strategic locations here.
They are. Now, further west, they've got Game Lord, who is still in Georgia Pole. They haven't moved to the northern apartments yet, but they're holding a really nice position. As I say, you've got the Black Sparks right in front of them.
So we're here with Phoenix now, attempting to get a little bit of damage there on the... But it looks like we've got some more action down the south here. We're here with squad number 20, Execution Esports. Looks like they having a bit of fun down there. Looks like they have lost one of their team. Who have they got over there? LMV?
Yeah, LMV actually jumped as a trio as well. So disadvantage already. So that's evened things up over here. Now to the west, we've got Night Target. We've got GSG, the 2 remaining players rotating past them on the north. So teams started to try and get a presence near centre zone at the moment. We've got a couple of teams around the school area. Still got that battle with Unicorns of Love and Black Sparks over to the west of zone now. Now, Bedo's been taken down. Apologies.
So we're back here with Unicorns of Love. The north here.
I think Black Sparks might be trying to rotate around. We've got a couple of their players are on the northeastern edge of the Everest Mountain. Hamo is actually trying to come away from the compound. It's just not quite rendering in from where we are now. So he's got to try and rotate in. Unicorns of Love starting to make their way in now. And Game Lord have actually decided not to get involved with this. They probably know that Unicorns of Love like that tactic. They will go there. So Game Lords are actually rotating all the way around north past shooting range, and they'll be coming in from the northwestern side.
However, it does look like we've got teams starting to come together in the centre of the map around the school area now. So we've got elements of squad number 10, that's Imperia, and squad number 11, that's G3 Temper. Looks like at least 2 of these guys have certainly aware of the presence of the other team. So our zone's starting to close in now. More and more teams coming into smaller and smaller real estate.
Yeah, so the next zone will be very important. If we get a hard shift either north, south, wherever it may go, then we're going to see teams going for it, because the teams have done their looting. They've made their way into the first zone, most of them successfully.
So we're here with Night Target. They're getting into it with Eastern Stars. Looks like we've got one from Night Target who has knocked Harpy here. Putting in some nade work.
Trying to get some high ground. Nades starting to rain back in.
And putting some rounds in. Does look like Zloy over here may well have his hands full.
They've still got 3 players remaining, but he is fighting a bit of a lone battle here. He's got all 4 players in front of him.
And here comes a push up the stairs. Zloy putting some rounds in there, but not quite getting the knock. Here comes another player, just waiting for that mag to empty a little bit, but he's doing a great job. He's managed to establish 1 knock. Next player up the stairs, however, unfortunately does get the knock on Zloy there. Put up one hell of a fight. The rest of his team now coming into the base of this building, trying to hit these guys on the flank.
Fantastic movement here from these guys. They've lost 2 players, but they have managed to put some hurt in return.
And here we go, jump shot towards the wall there, just making sure his flanks are covered. His teammate has now been knocked. Got 3 guns and over they come. And that is cleaned up by our friends from Eastern Stars. They're taking 4 kills in phase number 2 of the game. Great individual gun work from Zloy there, but just proved to be a little bit too much in the end. Very aggressive push from Eastern Stars, who cleaned it up nicely there, Jammy. And they've come out as a 4.
They have, and that's the most important thing. Yes, getting the early kills is good, but they've still got all 4 players up. They can loot all the ammo, the heals, everything they need now. Really important, really good, actually good play from both teams there.
Yep.
It was a good attack, good defense, and as you say, Eastern Stars coming out on top.
Okay, so straight back into it again. We're here with squad number 3. This is Rice Gang. And we were exchanging some shots. And
Team Umbra, who are over to their east, but they've also got Nexus Gaming to their west as well. In fact, they're pretty much surrounded because they're just south of centre zone here.
So there's our situation. We've got Rice spread along just off to the west of this position. Our friends from Team Umbra there taking a little bit of cover in the contours there.
That's a really good position there from Umbra. It allows very quick escape, but you can see so much from that dip, but it affords great cover.
And okay, we are just a few seconds away from our next phase of play starting to push in. So Blue Zone starting to push in now. Phase number 2 of the game. We are down to 55 players left alive, 15 teams still competing at this point. Have had a little bit of early action, but so far it's been fairly strategically played. A little bit quiet at the moment, but I'm sure it'll get a lot noisier very, very quickly.
It will. And interesting to see the 2 different rotations there from Unicorns of Love up in Yasnaya and Game Lord, who were just east of Rozok in the compound there. They both came from the same place, 2 similar rotations, but chosen totally different locations that they're going to do their secondary looting.
So these guys still dancing around each other. However, they do have teams not too far away from them. So potentially they could get third party quite easily from these 2 locations, Jammy.
They can. Now, Rice, I can see they've got the 2-2 split there. They've got 2 in the compound slightly south of the road, and then they've got another 2 in that woodland hillside just north of the road there. Really good vision from that hillside. You can see so much from it. They have still got the protection because their 2 teammates are still quite close.
And we're back with Eastern Stars, who were covering a little bit earlier. Now they're getting into it with squad number 13 Rescue. And I would say the guys from Rescue here certainly know that these guys are around. The amount of nades that are popping over the top of this hill. We're here with Blood. He's answering back in kind, getting his own throwables out.
And look at that, they've got Octavian out in the background as well.
Yep.
Just holding that wide angle.
So Blood's certainly got to look at the position that Octavian is occupying there. So just using this reverse slope, Coyote getting the molly over. We've also got elements of squad number 7, that's Nexus. Not too far away. But Coyote doing a good job covering his flanks.
Yes, I'm interested to see what Eastern Stars do here. Are they going to push? Are they got Kafala trying to get the wide angle? So Octavian and Kafala doing the wide angle work.
Yep.
and then the other two players trying to do the up close and personal stuff. But
So
zone breaks, and so rescue not getting involved here.
So these guys trying to get out of it, go for their rotation, probably a good call, as are the rest of these teams, but looks like we do have some gun, and these guys coming under quite a bit of pressure as they're going for their rotations.
What's interesting, the guys that we featured earlier, Rice and Team Umbra, they're the guys that are currently centre zone, so they took that position early, and that's the important thing because you've got such good visibility. As teams try and take your position, you can see them quite easily.
And our friend Luffy here, one tyre blown out on the buggy there, took quite a bit of damage, has made it into circle now though.
Yeah, perfectly timed for the first aid, and I think he's about to be pushed by Kafala.
But beautiful work there, heard the buggy, instantly stopped with his pills there. However, he's now getting hit from the rear, and oh my word, he only just survived that third party work from squad number 18 LMV there.
Yeah, I mean, I got told off sometimes for using the term 1 HP, but that must be the dictionary definition of 1 HP for Fluffy.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of him left there, was there? So we got two of the players from Eastern Stars holed up in that small little little hut down there. That's our general situation on the ground.
Western side, actually. Interesting to see that. No one's really gambled on that eastern side of zone. Everyone's coming in from the west.
So we've still got a little bit of separation for the teams, but certainly more than aware of each other's presence. LMV certainly looking to overlook this position. And you have to say our friends from team number 5 here got teams to their front and rear. So tough situation for them. They're already 2 players down.
Certainly have. Now, another team in a fairly tough position up in the north of zone is Scrim Farm. Horrible segue there. Sorry for that. Very clunky. But we've got Scrim Farm up there. Now, they're going up against Unicorns of Love. Spectra from Scrim Farm was knocked. He's been revived. But then they've got Bulger Gaming. Well, 13 Bulger, sorry. So they're under quite a bit of pressure up on the northern side here.
Yeah, and that is at least 2 of these players are down, and 1 dead, 1 knocked. So our friend Xerox here
get involved.
Under a great deal of pressure. And Unicorns of Love certainly under a huge amount of pressure in this small hollow dip here.
They are. It's Ago Triple N. He's the last remaining player on his feet. He's getting the revive on his teammate, Ked. And now it's Phoenix who's going to be revived. These guys need to put some sort of defensive perimeter in because it's likely... I'm surprised they're not being pushed. But the thing is, because there are other teams around, the only team that can push them is Scrim Farm, realistically, and they can't go up and do it because they're under pressure from the other 2 teams.
So these guys have just about managed to get each other, get rezzed up, get back on their feet. They've still got the same position, of course. We've got squad number 9. That's Destiny up on the high ground there. Nades still being exchanged with Scrim Farm.
And we've got it's difficult to say. It's not a hard shift. It's just a shrinking of the zone. But it does mean that all these guys in the north and all around the west are out of zone now. They're going to have to make a decision. Are they going to fight this one out, or are they going to get into zone?
So we are in phase number 4 of the game. There is our next circle, and there's a lot of people who still got a long way to come into this circle. These guys have either got to finish this fight or disengage.
Now look at that, 13B. They're Team 17, Demon, making sure they've got a presence in zone. Even if the rest of the team can't get there, they're going to carry on the fight and try and gatekeep these guys. But they've made sure they've got at least a presence in zone.
And it does look like potential... Well, I don't know if these guys were just thinking about a rotation, although it looks like some of those vehicles are not in particularly good repair.
No, pretty knackered, to be honest.
Yeah, but it does look like these guys...
15 teams. Phase 4 of the game, a small circle for 15 teams. These guys are going to be getting up close and personal. Destiny now getting involved with Nexus. And, oh, sorry about that. That's the commentator's curse then.
So here we are with Mishi from Destiny, 2 of his teammates down. We're getting into it with Rice. And they're turning that vehicle into Swiss cheese, and there it goes.
Well, it's always a good thing that he didn't have to use his ammo to do that, but he's in a horrible position now. So all of the teams almost actually at Scrim Farm, who are the ones up in the north, they've still got to rotate in. We've still got plenty of teams down in the southwest as well. We've got Game Lord and Eastern Stars.
So these guys in a very, very small area of real estate. Plenty of smoke, plenty of throwables going out. We've got elements of squad number 10. That's Imperia. We've got Nexus, Destiny and Rice all involved in this fight. We've also got elements of 16, 17, not too far away from this. So it's all getting very, very, very congested at this northwestern part of the circle, Jammy.
It is. And look at that. We've got Rice, who had that compound and this hillside. So they let the other team take this hillside. They're going to let them just take each other out. They've got a compound. They don't care. They're quite happy. Umbra, they left some players in that area between the roads, as we can just see to the top left of the screen. But what they've done, they've also sent a player over to the what used to be the warehouse, now the museum area.
So the blue is now starting to push. We're in phase 5 of the game. So we're only about 1 minute 40 till the next phase of play. And if you look at Imperia here, they're looking to come forward a little. That is going to bring them into contact with these 2 players from Destiny.
It is, and this is starting to condense. Oh, we've got, as you say, Eastern Stars coming in. They're trying to make their way in, but they can't just crash in. They've got to plan this. They've got to be careful because there are so many teams on this side. What we also see is teams are starting to come back together. They're starting to ditch the 2-2 splits and the like. They're coming back as teams for these late stages just to make sure they've got guns in the game. Now, Team 11, G3 Temper, they are under a lot of fire from both Umbra and Team 20, Execution Esports. Not having a great time of it here.
Yeah, and these guys certainly... And here comes a very aggressive push coming in from Umbra Esports. Doing the best to get a nade out, but in comes the fire. And that is G3 taken out. That was also some third-party work coming across from squad number 20, Execution Esports. Great work there from these guys.
Yeah, Execution there, just on the edge of zone, got a nice compound, really good view from there. Great bit of third-party work.
So we're here with Phoenix from Unicorns of Love. He's got an overlook on as Bolsh Gaming.
The issue is, Unicorns of Love are one of the 2 teams that actually went out to that eastern side. And what does Jammy Gaming know? He knows nothing. His zone went west, of course.
So Unicorns of Love looking to use the wall as the wall of smoke there to ease their rotation.
Oh, the player here is desperate to try and get a good sight on Unicorns of Love as they rotate in. But of course, as soon as he does that, as soon as he stands there for any length of time, he's being taken down by the 4 teams who are looking at him.
And that is Unicorns of Love coming under increasingly huge amounts of pressure as they're coming in for the rotation here. Gets into a one-on-one and manages to take it with the barest amount of health. Takes the thirst and gets the kill for his team. 2 of his teammates are knocked, 1 dead. So that was an important piece of play there from Ked.
It's Ked from Unicorns. Yeah, really good work. He's got 1:20 till zone breaks, and the zone is going back to Team Umbra. They're being rewarded by holding that position. They're still in zone. In fact, Swave is centre zone there.
So that is our situation at Umbra. So the only people at this moment in time who've got any position in zone. The rest of these teams still involved in their individual fights. Unicorns Love doing their best to make their way in. That
Xerox from Scrim Farm just taken down there. As soon as he came around the corner from the small building he was using to cover.
And Mozero here from, and what a piece of play. Some great spray work. Ultimately taken out, but he was doing huge swathes of damage as he came in there, but his teammate has now also been taken out, so that is another team done. But look at the hurt that he put into squad number 3 there. That's incredible.
Yeah, Rice Gaming there. Rice Gang taking a huge amount of damage from Mozaro there.
And that's going to really affect them because they've got to get back on their feet and they've got to get into this circle.
So Nexus and Rice getting into it together. Over on that western side, they've got to try and get over away from that hillside now. They've got to come over.
And that is Rice just doing their very best to make a mad dash for it. Hater has made it across the road. But he's going to come under probably a hail of gunfire. And yes, indeed, instantly third-partied by our friends from Umbra. So we're down to 11 players left alive. 4 teams contesting. We've still got rotations coming into the blue. This is going to be under a hail of gunfire also for Sushi. And there are a lot of guns waiting. Hits the deck immediately, but instantly taken out by the same guys from Umbra with this flanking fire position.
Top 3, Umbra. It's Execution and 13B.
And squad number 20 now increasingly coming under a lot of pressure, as are our friends from squad number 17.
So Umbra, can they make all that good work, making sure they held that compound, well, not even a compound, just that defensive position between the roads. They held it for so long. Can they make that count?
So we have Umbra, we have team 17 Bulge Gaming. I think it's just the one player for Bulge around. But at the moment, Execution Esports, they're out of circle. They're taking knocks. They're laying down the smokes here. We're down to 8 players left alive. We are phase 7 of the game. In comes Lord from Umbra, looking to establish his presence. But more nades flashing into that tree.
He is. He's trying to get the revive on his team, and I think he might be just about doing it, is he? I think he has. Yes, he has. He's just managed to revive Talon, but Talon is instantly knocked again, and Molly comes in.
And our friends from squad number 20, Execution Esports, they are still out of circle here, but they did manage to get themselves rezzed, but they've got to get across this road. They've got to push in towards this team, and we know that we still have at least one player from squad number 17, Bulge Gaming, out there, but...
And he's in zone as well.
Yeah,
he could really act as the
ultimately, here comes the blue, and this is going to be pushing at the back of Execution Esports, so they're going to have to come in now.
They've got a nice spread, so they're going to separate out the fire.
And no choice but to go forward into it. So here we go. So stepping out into the blue. And that's some great gun work from Umbra there. So they clear that one up. So we've just simply got the one last remaining player from Bulge Esports. Execution Esports had no choice but to push forward there. But ultimately that did decide their fate. And they went straight into the guns of Umbra, who have been making it so difficult for pretty much anybody to try to come into this circle late in the last few phases of play. And yeah, you'd have to say, I think the numbers are going to tell here, Jammy.
It's most likely, but we've seen this sort of thing before. It is last circle. Are we going to see an absolute clutch 1-on-3 even? He's putting some shots into the car. He thinks there's someone behind the car. He's giving his position away. That
instantly drew the fire. And they've got to know it's a 3-on-1. So, but nobody... and there we go, trying to get some meds in. But ultimately, the guys from Umbra clear that one up. A masterly performance in the final few phases of play, and they take a well-deserved winner chicken dinner. Thank you for that. So we're going to run through the top 3 very quickly. Umbra, they take it here in first place with 12 kills. In second place, guys from Bulge, the sole surviving player there, getting them into second place. They go second with 5 kills, and in third, that was Execution Esports, wasn't it? Execution Esports with 4 kills. At least we've got a couple of people with 5 kills there. Can't see any higher top fraggers than that.
Really good work from Umbra.
Yep. Okay, boys and girls. Oof, get that out of my ear. Okay, boys and girls. We're going to take a very, very short break, and we'll be back with some post-game analysis and introduction for game number 2. We shall see you very shortly. Bye for now. Okay, boys and girls, we're back, and that was quite an exciting conclusion to game number 1. Bit slow at the start, Jammy. Everybody going to their pre-arranged jump zones. A little bit of early action in and around George Pole, but most people focusing on their rotations. And we really started to get it, but there were a lot of gunfights for people outside of circle, and then coming in with late rotations. And that enabled our eventual winners there, Umbra, to really sort of clean up. They got a lot of kills of teams rotating in the final phases of play, Jammy.
They absolutely did, yeah. They took a brilliant position. I mean, we saw, as you said, the teams up around the Georgia Pole area. They had almost a bit of a sort of phony war. They knew where each other was, but also they weren't going to take random pot shots. There's no point. But then Unicorns of Love held those strategic positions around, not just there on the bridges, but around the bridges, knowing that those teams would have to rotate past them. And they managed to get some good knocks and some good damage in there. But then for me, the highlight was Team Umbra and Rice Gaming as well.
Yeah.
The two teams very close to each other. Rice Gaming with the 2-2 split, 2 in the compound, 2 on the hillside in the woods. But then Umbra with that defense, they didn't even have a compound for most of the game. They were just in that dip, just brilliantly defending it and getting anyone that came near them.
And we had that great piece of action, didn't we? Coming to the final player game with 2, I can't remember, was it Destiny, I think it was.
On the western side.
Yeah, they literally they virtually shredded an entire squad with some great sneaky play there. They did ultimately get taken out for it, but caused a huge amount of damage and ultimately made it very difficult for that team to rotate in. You can't take it any away from Umbra there. The amount of the amount of players that they were getting as they were trying to force their rotations. Had to feel a bit sorry for Execution Esports there. The circle just didn't pop for them, and they had to get medded, whack some smoke out, and ultimately they had very little choice but just to move forward into the Umbra position.
Exactly that. Now they did try their best because they came over, they split out and tried to go across in a wave rather than going off, one at a time or all in a line. They just tried to come over as a wave to separate out the fire, and they did really well, but they were just taken down by the sheer numbers and also the fact that they had the blue to their back.
Yeah, that was absolutely vital in the end. Right, I think we're only 1 or 2 minutes away from jumping into game number 2. And we're on Sarnock for this one. And it's always an interesting one to watch this one because obviously, yes, you do tend to see vehicles used much more in Pro Scrims on this map than perhaps you would in some lower tier scrims. Where a lot of rotations tend to be done on foot. But even at the highest levels, especially towards the end parts of the game, the final few phases of play, I mean, a lot of rotations do have to be made by foot. And that can lead to some interesting variations in game style, Jammy.
It is. It's just so different from everywhere else. That's the thing. You can get a bit of snaking on Erangel. We don't see it in Miramar, which is, you don't like it because you can't snake.
That's absolutely. I don't like it unless I've got tall grass around my ears, dude. It's just how I roll.
But it does mean that it's almost like the distance doesn't matter. You can be 50 meters, 100 meters. It just doesn't matter because the smaller map, the abundance of cover in some areas, and then the completely open plains in other areas means that actually that 50 meters can be harder than 2 kilometers on Miramar.
Well, you would know because I understand that you spend a lot of time running in the blue on Miramar.
How very dare you? That's a scurrilous rumour and you know it.
I do. Okay, we are about to go into game number 2, as we've said, on Sarnock. Certainly, we'll see. Well, it's always an interesting one because just about everything's in range on Sarnock. So we'll see if people go to their agreed upon separate jump locations or we're going to get people fighting it out in the same compounds. I would imagine we'll get at least a couple into boot camp, probably a few into Painan, but we shall see.
Yeah, I mean we've had some variations actually. We've had some, especially the high level, where they just ignore boot camp, but then we get 7 teams in Painan,
which is just great fun, frankly. Okay, so a little bit glitchy there, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, which should hopefully be okay. 10 seconds to go, so I mean, although the distances aren't as great, the flight line in the first zone can be really important on Sandhock. It makes a huge difference because of including, for example, the rivers.
Okay, so we are on the plane. Let's have a look at our flight line. And right, we are going just on the edge of the Northwest Island there. Boots at Camp Paradise, certainly in range, heading to the Tambang area down on the southwest coast, Jammy.
Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of teams probably. As you know, my favourite is the Northwest area. And when I'm casting scrims, I love it when we get a zone that ends up around that boot camp to Camp Alpha area, where you got the three rivers meet. It just makes it so much harder for teams to rotate in. They've got to try and second guess where the final zone is going to be. Sometimes even it goes into the water. Rarely, but it does happen.
It looks like we've got probably potentially only one team into boot camp, potentially only one into Paradise, Jammy.
We have, but it looks like we might have a couple going down towards Hainan. I'm just looking. No, maybe not.
No, breaking away.
Now we've got some teams who are dropping in and rotating in together, and as a team, and we've got some that've got some very, very wide angle.
So we're here in Camp Alpha, and we've already had a little bit of early action here. We've got Mishi from squad number 9 from Destiny has already been knocked. They're getting into it with squad number 13 Rescue.
Interesting. Just we got I think we got what 5 teams up on this northwestern island. We got these 2 in Camp Alpha. Actually, no, 4. We got Rescue, Destiny. Then we got G3 split between the southern side of the island and the very north, and then to the east we got Rice. They're also split. So they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. They've put 2 on the western peninsula and 2 on the eastern side of the northwestern island.
We're here with Beast, and he's putting some rounds into one of the players from Rescue there.
So using the old his name there.
Yep, using the old third-party peak mechanic. Now it looks like this team have got one knocked again. Out come the nades. Now, did Rescue jump as a 3, Jammy? Did I see that right, or have they sent a scout off?
I'm just going to check actually and see where they are. No, Blood has been knocked and thirsted, actually. So they did jump as a 4, but they've already lost a player. Mishi taken down again.
And here we are with Mazzaro, and he was the person I believe was doing the great work in the final stages of game number 1.
He was. He's just trying to get an angle on the Rescue guys. He just can't get that killer angle. Here we go.
Goes for the jump shot there. Getting some shots from his flank, looking to gain some height. Here we go, over the top. Switches out his weapons. Now onto the AK, out we come. He's taking quite a bit of damage, so straight back in and up.
Trying to buy himself a bit of time.
But that was a good read there, and ultimately he is taken out. That was a great read from Coyote there.
Certainly was. Rescue doing the business up in the northwestern island there. They lose 1 player, Blood, but they do come out of that with 4 kills. And they're not far out of zone, but what they do have is they have G3, who have got them surrounded. Now, they're not close, but they could potentially gatekeep their move into zone.
So we had, it was what we were saying on the drop, Jammy. We had just the 1 team in Paradise. Nobody went Painan in the end. 1 team boot camp.
What we are seeing more, actually, is teams not necessarily dropping in boot camp or Paradise, but dropping in the compounds around it, and then trying to come in and actually push once they've got some good loot.
So we're here with squad number 8. That's GSG Europe. Now they know they've got elements of Rice just off there, as Jammy was just saying, overlooking the high ground here.
So first zone, by the way, we're centred just west of, between sort of Quarry, Painan area. So not particularly hard for anyone, even the teams on the Northwest Island. They're going to be fine. Unless we get a hard shift up to the northwest, it's likely we're going to be on the mainland, possibly the southwestern island.
So Carno here doing a good job making sure his back door's clear. You get dizzy watching this lot, wouldn't you? They never stop moving.
You wonder why sometimes we go to a high level view.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's bad for my epilepsy. Okay, we are here with Rescue again. Now looks like they're getting into it with elements of squad number 11. Nades going out. So that's G3 Temper.
Yeah, so G3, they're looking at the north. They've got the 2 players who took the northern coast. Now, they haven't pushed in the other players yet. They've left Flacco over on the eastern coast. So this is going to be a 3v3. At the moment, it's only even a 3v2.
So our friend here, he's just scooting the edge, making sure that he's keeping visual contact with his buddy here. And looking to establish a little bit of height here, overlook. And we're here with squad number 12. This is Game Lord, and it looks like they're getting it into it with Unicorns of Love.
They are now. They dropped near Paradise, these guys, so they're now getting into it south of Paradise. Looks like they're heading towards centre zone.
And wonderful graphic render of these people all killing each other in midair. Here we go. And Ked there doing some great work, but one of his teammates is dead. 2 of them are knocked, and he's getting very aggressively pushed on. And ultimately, that was not enough. And Victor from squad number 12 clears that up, but it looks like 7 Nexus Gaming heard all that commotion and are looking to come in aggressively and third party these guys whilst they're trying to get their res on.
This is what you want to see. They've heard the.
And here we go. Here comes the flank around the rock. Drops one. And boom, what a nade. And that was absolutely lethal stuff. Didn't hesitate for a moment. Heard the gunfight going on with Unicorns of Love who have been taken out. And then these guys went straight in hyper aggressively and cleared that one out. Fantastically entertaining piece of gameplay, Jammy.
Sends in the cleaner. His name is Nexus. What a wipe. That was brilliant. They distracted him with the single player. They sent in Sushi. He was taken down, but they just weren't ready for the nade that was coming in. The idea was not necessarily to get the kill, but it was just to stop them getting the revive.
No, we're here with squad number 18. That's LMV. They're getting into it with Scrim Farm. Looks like we've got Dev Boy has been taken out. J-Pon here, coming under some pressure. A little bit of damage from the nade there. Also, you got Vector, M4.
Yep, only phase 1, so it's not going to hurt too much, but he can't survive well.
Oh, and that was one hell of a knock.
Not going to survive too much of that. What a bit of third-party work that is.
So, Perks here, and it's Umbra not too far away from this one also. Is that who the third party came in from?
I think it was. It might have been Scrim Farm. I'm not 100% more sure who took him down, actually. I didn't see the name.
So, Perks putting a little bit of damage into Umbra as they come in, trying to lay off some smoke to cover his teammates somewhat.
So they've got Scrim Farm to the east, really holding up the revive. But then they've got Umbra, who we saw how good they were at holding up people in game 1, taking the chicken dinner. That's
really good squad play there from Perks. Putting in a bit of hurt, laying some smoke, getting to his teammate. Now he knows he's getting pushed on by elements of 15 as well, but that was good. That was good teamwork there, trying to keep another gun in the game. And unfortunately, his bolt play wasn't paid off. Didn't pay off for him there. And Team 15 cleared him up. So that's 3 early kills to Scrim Farm.
Yeah, good work from them. They've got to make it into zone. It's not far, but as we spoke about in the intro, it's not the distance on Sandhawk. It's the fact there are teams waiting for you. They could be around any rock.
So we are here with Execution Esports, who we saw contesting the final stages of game number 1. They're getting into it with Eastern Stars. And looks like one of the team from Execution has been knocked. Or is that no? Just yeah. Oh, and in comes a nade. That sounded a bit close. Oh no, smoke.
This is smoke. No, it's Octavian, who's the only one from Eastern Esports still alive. They've had 2 killed, but Kafala is actually knocked. So Octavian is trying to put some smoke down to get to his teammate. I don't think he's going to be able to. I think his teammate is likely to bleed out here because of the cover that Team 20 Execution are putting in. They're just not letting him get to him.
It would not be wise to push forward there. I think you're just going to lose 2 guns. Even giving away his position at this point might be very dodgy because it's not going to take these guys 2 seconds to get across that road. But yeah, he's going for it. Here comes the push. And as I said, as soon as he fired, that was it. They're going to be straight across this road. They're not letting that go. And there comes the aggressive push. He's putting in some great rounds with the Vector there. Now he's taking some switches out to the M4. He's under a huge amount of pressure here. I mean, fair play to him for trying to find it out. But yeah, that was a pretty readable play as soon as he opened fire there.
It was. That was really unfortunate. Then we got Team 5 here, Black Sparks, putting some shots into execution. They've seen what's happening from the distance. They've heard the shots and they're scoping in.
Yeah, some really nice tap fire with the suppressed M4 there. Okay, we're in phase 2 of the game. That's our general situation on the map. We are down to 44 players left alive, 12 teams still competing at this moment in time. And looks like we're going to be on the main part of the island, Jammy, and Quarry is going to be featuring, I think.
It is, but look at the west of zone there, west of boot camp. We've got G3 and Rescue. They're resuming the battle that they had earlier. Over on the northwestern island, they were in Camp Alpha. G3 managed to get themselves just onto the edge of zone. Rescue are making their way over the water, slightly north of this position, but G3 should be able to hold the position here.
And they are, at this moment, just inside a circle, but you've got to imagine it's going to be going on to the main island with the next phase of play, Jammy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't see it coming back over to Pine now, and that'd be the mother of all hard shifts.
I was wondering what you were going to say there, dude. I'm glad you cleaned it up. Oh, dear. Yeah, Vimes had a twitchy moment.
Yeah. Don't worry, I remember we're live.
So our next circle is about to break, and yes, that comes even more centrally towards the quarry area. But it does look like these guys are starting to come into it now, and Rescue taking a little bit of damage as they're coming in. We're here with Coyote. Phase 3 of the game, so it's not too damaging at this point, but you don't want to be here fighting too long because this is going to be a difficult rotation after this fight is done.
It is. This is one. It might be better off just trying to get a wide rotation round and actually putting up with the fact you're going to be in the blue for a bit longer. Use your meds and get round. They've got to try and go through a well-established G3. G3 knew what they were doing. They knew Rescue were coming in behind them.
So he knows he's got the knock player there. He's not going for the thirst just yet. And this guy's literally encouraging him to get for the thirst. He doesn't want to be a burden to his... no. So he does manage to get himself into some cover.
He does. Now, interestingly, G3 have actually sent 2 of their players further south to get into zone. They've left a couple... In fact, they've left 1 player to try and hold these guys up. Now,
and the rest of them are looking to rotate.
Blue, he probably can, he can do a good job here. This is it. They're leaving them to it. They're moving away, G3. Good play. Really good RGL work there. Disengaging.
Yep, so disengaging, using the narrow piece of land that they have to go to the south and get away from this one. So it was a situation where you either had to win that fight or get out of it. And this does give them, of course, the option now to gatekeep them from the other side of the water there. As these guys from Rescue have to rotate in. So they may well be in for a tough water crossing there, Jammy.
They will be, and they know G3 have done the right thing, exactly the right thing, at the right time, because look at the blue, it's just following them. They know that they can keep 3 sets of eyes forwards and looking out for people in zone as they try and make the rotation. They can just hold 1 person at the back just to keep looking behind, because they know that Rescue, even if they do come up to them, they're going to be knackered.
We are still in and around this quarry area. We've got a number of teams who are taking up strong positions now. We are here with squad number 20, Execution Esports. Looks like they're getting into it with... is that Black Sparks? Yeah, Black Sparks.
It is, yeah, so all the way across the quarry there. Good work. Black Sparks have got Umbra, the other side of them to the east. But there's also GSG Europe. Everyone's starting to really condense. And that's the thing when you get the quarry in play. It just takes out so much usable, almost like surface area.
So, yeah, we do have elements of GSG up on the high ground there, and it looks like they've certainly been near that crate.
G3, who we saw having that fight with Rescue, did make it into zone, but they are now getting into it with Rice Gang over on the western side, whereas Rescue are still coming up the hill from the blue. They are really starting to struggle now.
And G3 coming under increasing amounts of pressure here. That's the hurt going into at least 2 of their players.
It is, and Six God has been finished off. It's Buden who's got.
And we've got a little bit of a peek of him there. And some great spray work from Nexus there. So, yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about, Jammy, by leaving, even in phase 3 of the game, leaving the rotation that late, especially on a map as small as Sarnock, that can make your next rotations in very, very challenging indeed.
It really can. They did the right thing. They left Rescue to try and make it through the blue zone. Rescue are coming up behind them, so they may even be able to hold them up if they can keep their team
and
going.
Nexus looking
right now on the push.
Yeah, Nexus looking to push into that. Knows he's got at least 2 players here. Knows he's put rounds into at least one of them. But he in turn is getting third party by the flanking fire from Flacco there. That was great work. So the aggressive push for Nexus not working out there. Great cover there from Flacco.
And who's in the north, in the background there? Rescue. They've made it into zone.
So our friend who was aggressively on the push now finds himself in turn being pushed. However, his buddy here doing some great work, returning the favour and getting the res onto his teammate.
He is, but we're in phase 4 now. This is going to start to hurt. They've got to move. Rescue, actually, look at them in the north. They are motoring. These guys fight on the edge of zone.
And we've got various individual fights going in and around the outside. Now these guys have really got to decide what they're doing. They've got a long way to go, and potentially that's going to push. Blue is starting to push into them now, and this can only help their opponents. And look at Umbra; they're taking up position strategically in the circle already, just south of the barn area.
Yeah, really good. And look, they've got a really nice spread. They're not all in one building. They've got multiple angles covered. There's no one to their east outside zone, unless we get someone like Interior rotate round.
And all of these teams, they've literally got a fighting run now for a good few hundred meters to try and get in the circle.
They have. And phase 4, this is going to hurt. They can't afford to do this. Rescue must have used most of their meds just getting to this position.
And some great ADS work. Iron sighted with the AK. And nearly taking a second there, but he in turn has been knocked. So only one member of Rescue up on his feet at this moment in time.
Yeah, and Rice is struggling. Nightmare is trying to get bandages in as quickly as possible. He just cannot get the bandages in quick enough. He certainly can't put first aid in just yet. He just hasn't got the health. It's going too quick.
And ultimately, that really is helping these teams who've managed to get themselves a position into circle early on.
It is that. Excuse me. And look at that. We see 13B there. 13 Bulger taking the kills over on the eastern side. Well, the southern side.
So we are down to 26 players left alive. 10 teams still competing, and that is our situation. A lot of teams still trying to come into the circle here. We've
got so many teams outside of zone. We've got a few teams. We've only got one team that's got any players in zone, and it's not Umbra this time. It's shifted over to the west, so it's GSG Europe.
That is our situation on the map. But the whole northern part of this circle here is completely empty. Umbra should have a rotation coming in. We have Execution Esports still trying to come in. We have GSG Europe coming under increasing pressure, and everybody now getting pushed by the blue and having to start to come together, Jammy.
They are. We've got all these teams coming in from the blue still. We've got 13B Demon. We've got G3 Gunner in the western side. Scrim Farm in the east. They're not in the blue yet, but they're going to be fairly soon. But Umbra, look at them. They're trying to make their way into zone. They're just on the edge. They've got a compound there. But I'd say it's probably about 5 or 10 meters away from the edge of zone. So they might end up having to go into open ground just to get into zone. So realistically, we've got 3 well-placed teams. In fact, Scrim Farm just made their way with vehicles into center zone. Really good work from Scrim Farm.
We're not quite establishing the knock there, but some great spray work from Execution Esports here, and they've certainly got Umbra's location. Now, Umbra have just managed to claw themselves into the edge of the circle here, but the next circle has broken, and it doesn't work out for either of these two teams.
No, but it's worked out for Scrim Farm. They took a risky late rotation using the vehicle, and they are in north of zone and in hard cover.
That is our situation. We have elements of squad number 8, GSG's Europe. They are still up as a 4. They're trying to deal with the last 2 players from Execution Esports. Umbra still coming in.
Look at this. Angelito and the player Luck there from Execution really going at it. We got a bit of a 1v1 down there. But Angelito takes down the other player, actually, not the one closest to him.
And that's
Luck taken down.
Luck taken down. So an anti-bot god also taken down. So GSG Esports doing the business there and managing to clear. They're now putting the rounds into Umbra as they try and dominate the southwestern part of the circle, Jammy.
They are, and it's Scrim Farm up in the north. They took an early position, as I said. They took a risky location, but it's worked out for them because they're able to get the third party.
So great work from Lau there. Really putting the hurt into Umbra, our winners of game number 1. And looking to clear up Lord there, which he has. But however,
there we go.
He's got 2 members of his team down. 1 dead. So he is, at this moment in time, the only gun in the game for his team. We are down to the final 2 teams. That's Scrim Farm and GSG.
Yeah, so it's only Icy remaining for his team. He's managed to get 1 kill, 3 for the team here. He's 10 metres out of zone. He hasn't quite made it. Oh!
Icy taking some rounds through the window there. And so they've got his location. They've now managed to get the res on as well. And now pushing into this location from 2 different sides.
Oh, look at that. Molly, what a shot that was.
So as he leaves the building on fire, absolutely ruthlessly shot in the face as he comes out of the building there. And some great work from GSG Europe to take the win in game number 2. Fantastic work for those guys. They take first place with 12 kills. In second place, that's Scrim Farm with 3 kills. And in third, our winners of game number 1, Umbra, with 4 kills. Looking for top fraggers, we have a couple of 4s there. We have Tantho. He's got 5. I didn't see any more than 5.
You've got 3s and 1s, 2s that I can see, I believe.
No,
Yeah,
I think
3s.
Tantho takes top fragger, but ultimately the win goes to GSG Europe for fantastic play at the end there, and a very, very fiery, violent end for the poor fella from Scrim Farm. But a fantastic game to bit of action to conclude game number 2. Jammy and I will be back very shortly for a bit of post game and introduction into game 3. We will see you very shortly. Bye for now. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. And that concluded game number 2 on Sarnock. And yeah, a little bit of early action on the Northwest Island early on. I think one of my favourite bits was the ruthless push by Nexus Gaming there, as they cleaned up what was left after 2 squads had been going at it, and they instantly went in and thirsted that one up. Yeah, I think what struck me about that game, Jammy, was an awful lot of fighting rotations. People outside of circle, potentially leaving it too late. I mean, obviously, disengaging on Sarnock is a very difficult map to disengage in because you're not generally doing it on vehicles. But a lot of teams simply fighting their way in, sometimes across quite large sections of the map, to even try to get into the final phases of play there, which ultimately played into the hands of the teams who had managed to get themselves into position early. Taking nothing away from GSG Europe, there, fantastic play, but a lot of teams not necessarily getting their rotations in as quickly as they should have done.
No, I totally agree. And we saw there on the western side, just north of Pineham, where the rivers meet, we saw that G3 held a brilliant position. They knew that Rescue were coming in behind them because they were in the same place. They were all at Camp Alpha. They knew roughly where Rescue were coming in from. So what they did is they made sure that they held literally just as close in on the edge of zone as they could, just to wait for them. Now, yes, obviously the aim is to always kill your opponent, but the idea for them was just hold them in the blue, make sure they were damaged. They left about the right time, possibly slightly late, but they did leave. They left Rescue in the blue, but Rescue are the ones that actually came out of it better. Because G3 came straight into, I think it was Rice off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
And then Rescue, after running all the way up the hill through the blue, managed to come in from the north. Now, I do have to make one comment about the final, about the end, with Ice from Scrim Farm. If you're the lone player on your team, the way you want to go out is on fire with a nade in your hand.
Well,
that is commitment.
that is committing, isn't it? Really, I mean, there's no messing with your intention at that point.
No. There's no whimper there, is there?
No, you're on fire. You're coming out of the building. You're holding a nade, and 3 people shoot you in the face. I mean, if you're going to go big, you've got to go big or go home, haven't you? So yes. You can't take anything away from him from that. I thought that was.
And actually, the reason he was there and they got second place is because they were well out of zone.
They
were being pushed by the blue, and they took a vehicle and they took a very risky rotation in full view of 3 teams, but they managed to get to hard cover and they held that hard cover up in the north.
Yeah, it certainly gave them the placement there. There was a very small opportunity. The last player from Scrim Farm there, where there were 2 players on the other team that were knocked, so potentially a very small opportunity, the only opportunity he was going to get for potentially an even gunfight, but just didn't have the distance to close it down. He had a position of hard cover, which he wasn't necessarily willing to give up. That did allow GSG to get guns back into the game, which ultimately led to the rather fiery ending that we got there in game number 2. Yeah, great work from our winners and the top teams in game number 2. Okay, we're just about to jump into game number 3. We're on Miramar for this one. And
Jammy is rubbing his hands.
Yeah, one of Jammy's favourites. This one, Jammy always goes on Miramar when he fancies a bit of esports exercise. He jogs far more on Miramar than he's ever done in his entire life in real life.
That is brutally true.
So yeah, this is a good map, mate. You like to go for a jog here, don't you?
I do. I love Miramar, as you know. I like the wide rotations. I like the routes you can take. I like the fact it allows you to set up positions. You can plan rotation routes. You can snipe, which I love doing. I'm not a close-up and personal player like you, who loves sweaty Sandhawk. So yeah, I love the open ground of Miramar.
I like to see the whites of their eyes, mate. Which is why ultimately I used to die very early in scrims.
Now, Miramar, unlike Sandhawk, the flight line and first zone are absolutely vital because the distances do make a difference here. We do see a lot of teams rotate early generally. They don't like to be caught out by the zone because if you get caught out by the zone here, you can be 6 kilometers away.
So, we're into game number 3. There is our flight line. So we're going south to northwest, Jammy. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Certainly may well get some teams jumping late and using the old road there towards Campo Militar. But certainly the centre of the map in play. And El Pozo and Los Leones are going to be the two major towns, I think.
We have, and we've got quite a few early jumpers now. It wouldn't surprise me if we get a few doing the same as what you suggested with Campo Militar, but around that eastern road. Maybe trying to get a rotation up to El Azahar or Impala, somewhere like that. I don't see anyone going down to the Britain Island or down to Los Higos.
No, that's surprising. I thought we might get a couple down there.
GSG are early landers. They've got a nice little split there, just off the flight line.
Yeah. Now then,
Sparks head east.
we got a couple of teams potentially looking to come into Meccano.
I think so. We've certainly got two. No, we've got 3 teams in Los Leones. And like you say, we've got Execution have taken Picardo. Umbra have gone further, just slightly northeast of Picardo. And Eastern Stars, they've got 2 of their players have taken the hillside to the north of Picardo. Interesting one from them.
And, okay. So we got at least one of the players from Umbra not too far away from our friends here in Execution Esports.
And we've got a northwestern zone, actually. It's going to be centred around Crater Fields, but it does still include La Cabreria, Ruins, Trailer Park, and all those areas. So what we might see is teams that jumped early and took that southern route, we might see some early rotations from them. Teams might be looking to get west and north as quickly as possible.
And beautiful work there from Klauser, managing to get knocks on 2 of these players, looking to establish a thirst, does it on 1. And that's the guys from Rice here under a lot of pressure.
From 1 player as well. Brilliant work from Klauser.
He's got one of his teammates on the high ground just to the rear of the Rice position here.
Yeah, this is an important early battle here because this isn't a great looting area, but we are just south of centre zone. So this could hold, actually, where all the other teams are going to be coming from the southern side. This could be quite important real estate here.
So, yeah, that was some great work from our friend here from squad number 10 from Imperia. And so, yeah, he's certainly got to look at these fellas now. Biding his time.
Are coming down the hillside now.
And that is great third-party work coming in from, or support work coming in from the rest of his squad there.
That is brilliant.
And that is easy now coming down this flank. He's looking to put the pressure on Carno here. That's gonna, yep, that's the member of, second member of Rice, third member of Rice, and that is that. What a fantastic piece of gameplay from our friends from team number 10 there. 5 early kills, and brilliant burst of fire from Qlash there. Just fantastic play, but I have to say, some excellent support play from his squad mates on the high ground.
Yeah, that was a good example of both individual gun skills and really good teamwork there. He held up the other players. He took the thirst where he could. He made sure he had cover when he couldn't get the thirst. And then his teammates were there to support just at the right time. And he just waited until his teammates were ready.
Yeah, we are here with
Imperia holds centre zone now. They're the furthest north of all of our teams. Apologies, they're not. LMV have gone all the way up. They've done exactly what you said. They've taken the northern road. They're going to Campo Militar.
So we're here with elements of Night Target. Now they've got I forgot who's there. They do have another squad not too far away from them. And that's our friends from Rescue, but they're looting basically to the south of their position, so it doesn't look like there's any imminent danger of these guys coming together. But we've also got elements of Nexus.
So interesting, we haven't seen many teams head up to that western side. Even LMV decided that they're going to go to their normal loot location. They're going to get vehicles. They're going to head to Campo Militar, and they're going to risk coming back across the northern road.
So we're here with 6God from G3. Gunfire just off in the distance.
There is. I'm trying to see where that is, actually. I think we've got Eastern Stars just to the east in Power Grid.
Here we are with Octavian. Looking to get the rest of his teammate, but getting pushed around the corner. Does a great job in establishing the knock and then getting to his teammate. Great support from the rest of his team. That push comes down and is dealt with as ruthlessly. So that's great support play from these players from squad number 14 here. And does look like they're going to get the revive on their teammate.
Really good work from them. He knew he had time to break away, but he's just been taken down again.
And now we've got some third party. We've got some third-party action coming in from Execution Esports.
Now they've got 6God from G3 just to their west. Now he's got a really good look. He knows exactly the way they are. He's going to put some shots in. He does take down Luck off the bike.
So 6God here puts the Thompson in his hand. Yeah, putting it to very good effect and went for the thirst, didn't quite get it. And that's some great cover work coming from the guys from Execution Esports there.
But Eastern Stars coming in for another third party. We've got third parties going on all over the place. These guys were third partied, and now they're coming back to try and do the same. But we saw 6God there. What he was doing is he knew that he was the last remaining player, and so he just had to try and get a point on the board, try and get the third.
And Tantho there, taking some rounds, instantly goes for the drop, looking to relocate to the other flank. Gets himself a little piece of hard cover here. Trying to get a few meds in. But beautiful taken out from Athis there. That's some great work from Eastern Stars.
Well, you know, we like as third party. We've also got the players from Scrim Farm coming in from the east.
Athis continuing to put the pressure on Execution Esports in the smoke, trying to get the meds in. And looks like these guys are going in on the push. And yeah, pretty ruthlessly.
But here comes the third party from Scrim Farm.
Yeah. So our friend here doing his very best to get his teammate up. He does succeed. Desperately trying to get some meds in and then change the position somewhat. Now they know they've got at least two players off to their left. They can see players off to their right. And that's beautiful pencil work, 2-2 split going on. And these guys caught in a huge crossfire here. Octavian really under it. And there we go. That's squad number 15, Scrim Farm, doing the business there and clearing up.
Oh, it's like a doctor's surgery. Next. Teams are just queuing up for the third party. I mean, this is important because they're all in zone here. Now, they've also got the guys from Night Target coming in from the east. I'm not sure they're going to come in the third party this. They're just rotating into zone. We do have a couple of teams going west now. We've got GSG Europe and Game Lord have actually gone round just west of Montenuevo. They're the only teams who have done that at the moment.
So a lot of teams now getting mobile in their vehicles, looking to get into the next circle for our next phase of play. And yeah, some nice early action in this one, Jammy.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's important because these guys are fighting inside the zone over quite important ground, because the teams that are coming in from the southeast are going to be coming across this area. Power grid, you know, it's quite open plains. You've got good visibility across here, and you can see actually we've got Night Target coming in from the east.
So they picked up 3 kills on our friends from Scrim Farm here.
So teams coming in from the blue still. We've still got LMV are still over at Campo Militar up in the far northeast.
And some great tap work coming in with the SKS there, but oh, he took a nasty knock in return.
Certainly did. Good bit of damage trading there from distance as well. So LMV making their way over now from Campo Militar. Down on the southeast there, we've got Umbra, 13B, and Black Sparks as well, all coming in from that southeastern side.
A lot of teams all coming into this southeastern part of the circle. Now, a lot of these teams are probably, I'd imagine, just keep moving, Jammy, because our next circle of play has broken.
Yeah, it has. We're going further northwest. So the teams that took the gamble and went west, excuse me, and went north, they're in the driving seat here.
Okay, we are here with Night Target. Now they're coming under some pressure here. 2 knocks have been established. Oh, is our friends from Scrim Farm looking to rotate out of this, or are they looking to close this one off? Looks like they want to push it and get these kills, Jammy.
They do. They want to get this done. They don't want to be out of zone. Now, we do have a rescue coming in from the eastern side. They're rotating in. They're not coming in fast. They're going in fairly slow. They can hear the gunshots happening.
So, Exile here using the old third-party mechanic. He knows he's got at least 2 players off to his right flank. 1 teammate dead, 2 knocked. So, he's going to be facing a full push from 4 here. And there was only one way that was going to end, so nice fight from Exile there, but ultimately taken out. So we're into it straight away again with our friends from Rescue.
Yeah,
like
you can see they've taken up a position. They've rotated around Scrim Farm, and they've gone in between Scrim Farm and the zone. So they're going to see if they can maybe hold up and gatekeep, or maybe they're just going to head out and leave this one, are they?
So it looks like GSG are winners game number 2. They're taking up position centre circle. Let's have a look at our friends from squad number 10, Imperia. Putting in some rounds towards Nexus Gaming there in the vehicle, and that is not looking good. And there goes the vehicle.
There's some beautifully controlled spray work there.
Yeah, I can't hit a DMR from that range. I lie, I can. 1 time in 10.
You'd be alright if it was a tank.
Absolutely.
Now, Rescue are rotating round. They are actually on the push to Scrim Farm now. They've managed to establish a knock on one of the Scrim Farm players, and they are coming in to push that knock.
So we're here with Spectra. Putting in the rounds. Let's have a look. And Scrim Farm have taken a flanking position here.
These guys have got 10 seconds though. We are phase 2 of the game. The blue is going to start to come. There's not a great distance. They're not going to be under too much pressure at first. They're going to be taking the fighting zone.
Beautiful work from Xerox there. Changed the angle of the engagement and managed to put some into the legs of the player taking the small amount of cover behind that tree. So, and he's got a great overlook here, but looking potentially to push in.
Teammate coming in, doing the work, getting the molly in on Wild Alone. And that is Rescue taken out. So
yeah.
Scrim Farm doing some great work. Now I think they're going to get...
And they're really lighting up this kill feed today, Jammy. 11 kills for this team already.
They have. Now over to the east of here, over at Graveyard, you've got Umbra and 13B. Now they are doing exactly what we talked about on Sandhawk. They're fighting it well. They were fighting.
They were, yeah. They've just cleared that one up.
13B, that player has now been taken down. So Umbra can get the revive on and start making their way into zone.
Right, let's check out our winners of game number 2, GSG. They're getting, they've got this position, centre circle now. They're fighting over this, or contesting this area centre circle in El Pozo. Not looking to necessarily engage at this point. Looks like GSG are taking the position on the high ground, and our friends from Nexus happy with the hard cover and the low ground there.
Yeah, it's a really good position for them. Up on the high ground, they've got a really good view. Lau is getting some great information for his team. He knows that they're not pushing. You can't just push up those rocks immediately. So he's relatively safe in that position.
We have an LMV not too far away from this.
Over on the, just for information, over on the western side, we've got Game Lord and Unicorns of Love. Unicorns of Love are up on the western road, very edge of the zone, and Game Lord are just in from them on the high ground. You can see there.
So our next phase or next circle is about to break, and
it comes back.
Does look like now we've got contact going on between GSG and our friends from Nexus.
No, it's LMV come in. So they came round, they rotated in from the north and took out the outlying player from GSG, and then they've gone back again. So they're on the edges of the crater there. Really good position for them on that northwestern edge of the crater.
So we are approximately 1 minute 40 seconds away from the blue starting to come in. We've got elements of Nexus starting to push closer to GSG now. And that's some effective rounds coming in. We are down to 39 players left alive. 11 teams are still contesting and coming towards the end of phase 3 of play.
We are. Now, these guys are arguing, you know, it's just a random hillside, but it's really good position because you've got a great overlook over the crater fields. You've got a good look, you know, onto El Pozo. So it could be quite important strategically, this position. You've got Unicorns of Love coming in from the northwestern side. You can see they've made that early decision to come in. They're not going to bother staying on the west. They're going into the northwest.
LMV just to the north of Crater Fields there. We've got two teams still fighting it out in El Pozo, overlooking each other. We've also got elements of Game Lord.
Just to say, down on the southeastern side, you've got Destiny and Scrim Farm. Scrim Farm, as we saw, that have been lighting it up. They were up against Destiny. They are playing outside of zone at the moment.
So these guys are going for some extreme driving, well, to say the least.
Drive it like you stole it. That is, yeah, that's a hell of a rotation.
And I don't know who makes these buggies, but the way our friend here is driving it, it's quite an endorsement for your product.
It certainly is.
And, yep, near vertical climbing there, loving it.
Time's better than a typhoon. Oh, he gets out
and it does come under some pressure straight away, so great driving skills, but ultimately that has made him a bit of a bullet magnet for everybody else.
That's really unfortunate because he got out the buggy the wrong side. If he'd got out the other side, he would have been the hill side of it and could have used the buggy as a bit of cover. But he was trying to get to his knocked teammate. Now, I think these guys, Icy and Xerox, are actually going to retreat away from this. They don't need to take this. They've got to try and get out. They're going to be on open ground as they drive out.
And, yeah. So, it looks like we now have elements of Unicorns of Love coming into the northern position, North Crater Fields that was being occupied by LMV.
We have, and it's Ked from Unicorns of Love going up as the scout, of course. He's the one up there against Dev Boy from LMV. I say against, it's, yeah, there's a hell of a distance up there.
So the nade goes up.
So most teams having a good position, establishing themselves quite well. And look at that, LMV, Unicorns of Love are rewarded for the position they've taken. LMV, absolutely dead centre zone for phase 5 of the game.
Okay, we're here with squad number 5, Black Sparks. Looks like they're coming under some pressure here. And coming in to push in against Game Lord. But our friend here, he's the only one on his feet at this moment in time. But he's got at least 2 down from Game Lord. And goes for the thirst, but taken out with the cover fire from Victor there. I don't think that was necessarily the right time to go for the thirst there, Jammy.
I don't think it was, but maybe he knew that he was in a sticky situation and he was trying to, like we saw on Sandhawk, was it Sandhawk? I think just trying to get that final kill.
Get that final kill.
The point for his team.
But he was in a, well, I think he was actually in a position to use them as bait and make the teammate push in. But
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I agree. There we go. So teams now, I mean, up in the northern side, we've got the guys from LMV and Umbra, and they're now going to be arguing about that high ground on the edge of the crater. Really important ground this is, especially late in the game.
We're going to have Unicorns of Love pushing into this as well, but that's 2 of the guys from LMV down. And our friends here from LMV coming under it from all corners. They've got Umbra here, Unicorns of Love not too far away. And also Imperio.
Yeah, Imperia now trying to take that centre zone. Really important. We seem to find this, that teams are actually really happy to take these fights out in the open if it means getting a good position. They don't necessarily need hard cover. Tactically, this is a really good position to fight over. It could be quite important for them. But Team Umbra have actually moved away from this fight. They're actually consolidating their position. Interesting to see how split Unicorns of Love are. They've got 2 players in zone holding up LMV as we saw, but they've still got another two players out to the very west of zone. In fact, they're out of zone at the moment. So maybe they're just trying to mop up any latecomers to zone.
So it looks like our friends from GSG getting involved in some action just on the edge, but they've now found themselves isolated and is coming very aggressively into this ground that these guys have been fighting over for the last few phases of play, Jammy.
Yeah, this is still, it's going to be centre zone. So Unicorns of Love, LMV and Imperia, they're the ones that are fighting over what is closest to centre zone. They've got the high ground there, and that's why it's so important, because centre zone, high ground, it should be relatively, not easy is the wrong word, but it's certainly defendable.
And GSG putting in some great work across the topography there, and that's really started to put the hurt into Imperia. So 2 dead, managed to get the second player up, but they know they've got elements of Unicorns of Love right in front of them. There's also a lone player there from squad number 12, that's Game Lord.
It is a Game Lord Phoenix there with the M24 taking down Robs.
We're here with squad number 9, Destiny. They're also, they're out of circle, these guys, and they're trying to fight their way through, but they've got to fight their way through Bulge Gaming.
They are. They need to clear this off. We've said it so many times before. You know, they're 130 metres away. They've established the knock. They need to push this now. I can see you trying to click on the player. Clever parking there, we saw.
And yeah, ultimately our friends from Destiny clear that one up. So we're here with GSG. Now they've come in for a very aggressive rotation. They've come under a lot of fire. Vehicle really busted up there, but not messing around. Straight into it, getting some rounds in towards Game Lord. And off, yes, who doesn't love that? My favourite gun in the whole game, the Mark 14, proving its versatility.
Really is. Now Destiny is starting to make their way in from that compound in the middle of the crater. They're going to have Umbra to their north, they're going to have GSG to their south, and they've got LMV to their west.
So we're here with Pro Lord from Umbra. He's running this ridge line. Now he's getting into it with Beast. He has been knocked. His teammate looking to potentially offer him some cover here. Out comes the smoke. Next circle has popped, and these guys are all fighting slightly outside it, Jammy.
They are at the moment. It's Unicorns of Love using their experience. They're currently in zone. They're the only team that are. But LMV are starting to make their way. They've got 1 or 2 players who are just right by the edge of zone. I think they're going to send someone in just to try and establish a presence.
So we are here with squad number 12. That's Game Lord. And they know they're getting into it. So just trying to fight their way into zone against Unicorns of Love here. And that is them taking out some fantastic work by Phoenix there, who is now going to move forward. But, yeah, is there a way up for him there, Jammy?
I don't think there is. He's going to have to try and get round, I think. Depends which way he's going to get round. It looks like his teammates are trying to get a path for him. So we've got Ked down to the southern side of the mountain.
And Ked putting in some great work as GSG switches out. And boom, there goes the vehicle. Fantastic work from Ked there. Here comes some more business for him. And out goes the nade.
Lovely little underarm nade there. Dropping it right onto Levi. He's going to try and bounce it off the rock. Can he get it connection? Not quite, just in the air there.
So our friend from Unicorns of Love doing a great job gatekeeping the hell out of this position as GSG were trying to rotate in.
That was good. Unicorns of Love, they're trying desperately to get into zone. Teams are really hurting now. This zone is starting to hurt them as they try and get up to the top of the rock. And a lot of teams, I don't think they're going to make it. We could see this actually go down to the zone.
And is there anybody who's actually in it at the moment in time?
Just on the very edge of zone, I think we've got GSG trying to establish a presence. They're trying to find a way to climb up the mountain. We've only got two teams remaining. It's Unicorns of Love and GSG.
And it looks like
it might be the case that it's going to be spoiling, followed by one player, and then healing from another.
So our friend here, Beg for Mercy from Unicorns of Love, has at this moment in time established himself a very, very dubious presence right on the edge of circle here.
Yeah, he's gone for the revive there. Now these guys, they are really struggling to get into zone. I think Levi is currently in the next zone from GSG.
Lau here, I think, also is just, but there's no way up from him there. And this is going to come down to whether you're on top of the cliff or at the bottom of it here. And Lau putting in some great work with the M4 there onto Ked. So GSG and Unicorns of Love fighting it out for the chicken dinner in our final stages of game number 3 on Miramar. And this could very well come down. These guys are both occupying a position, edge of circle. High ground.
This could go down to a heel off or who's got the best aim with the nades by the looks of it.
High ground or low ground. Blue is now starting to push.
Oh, that nade could hurt.
And boom.
Oh, but no.
And look at that, just the narrowest of edges that Unicorns of Love here. And this is not going to go well for him. But he manages to move in, but has he got any way out here?
They haven't. They can't get out. So what they need to do, they need to give all their meds to one player, and the other players need to act as spoilers so the other team can't heal.
So Alfredo managing to occupy the smallest amount of space in zone. Levi is the only member up for his team. And he's got an even smaller area to try and get into to get his teammate. Doing his best to get the res on. All of these players are out of circle. And Unicorns of Love go down for the jump shot and end it.
Brilliant, brilliant work. They finished that off. They were not going to wait for the heal off. They decided to take matters into their own hands. So
fantastic work from Unicorns of Love there. They take the win in game number 3 with 6 kills. In second place, GSG. They come in with 9 kills. And in third, Umbra, they come in with 9 kills also. I do think we do have to give a shout out, though, to... who was it? It was lighting up the... It was Scrim Farm, wasn't it? Oh, no, it wasn't. It was...
What Scrim Farm earlier? They were lighting up the kill for... Yeah, they got 12 kills between them, but it
12
was 6
kills.
for Icy.
Yeah, 12 kills for Scrim Farm, 6 for Icy there. They were certainly lighting that one up. Some great work early game. But ultimately, yeah, it did come down to what position you held on the map there. And but the our friends from Unicorns of Love taking the win. in game number 3. Right, boys and girls, we're going to take a very short break and we'll be back for our final and last game of the evening. Back on Erringle. We will see you soon. Bye for now. Okay, boys, welcome, boys and girls, welcome back. That was an exciting conclusion to game number 3 there. Yeah, interesting one. We had some very interesting early action, some great work from Scrim Farm early on in that one. But what was interesting in that one is the sort of 2 or 3 teams, GSG, Nexus, later joined by Unicorns of Love. They sort of seemed to almost have a fairly good inclination that we were going to be ending up in and around the El Pozo Crater Fields area. They sort of staked their claims there nice and early, mid game, and ultimately that's where we did get pushed to towards the end. But what can often happen on Miramar, you do end up with that. Who's at the bottom of the cliff? Who's at the top of the cliff? And where's it going to go? And that's ultimately what decided it, taking nothing away from Unicorns of Love there, especially with a great jump shot down to get the chicken dinner there, Jammy.
Yeah, really good work. We saw wave after wave of third parties on that plateau near Power Grid. Teams hearing the shots and coming in for a bit of action. And as you say, Scrim Farm cleaning up in that area. But then we saw a few teams around the edge of the crater area. They were trying to hold that high ground. They knew how important it'd be. Even if the zone shifted, control of that high ground gives them the advantage. So they were trying to make sure that they held that, and they fought really hard for it. And as you say, at the end, we nearly had a heel off. I thought we were going to have a heel off, but in the end, Unicorns of Love, they took it into their own hands. They made sure that they took it, because what they knew is they had the numbers, so they could send one player down. They knew where the other team were, because there was nowhere else for them to be. And so they sent a player down to do what he can. And you know what? It's almost a case of, well, if he got knocked, not actually that bad, because they had the numbers and they could probably out heal.
Yeah, absolutely. The I mean, if you're going to have a sort of hilltop finish on Miramar, you prefer it when both teams have got two or three teams to sort of in more of a plateau area, so they're using all the contours, and you are literally going to get a fight off coming in. But you do run that risk, and there was just no way up. I mean, it's not the sort of cliff. Although some of our friends were doing a very noble effort doing driving up there vertically. Yeah, you can sometimes end up with that. But yeah, I mean, Unicorns of Love called it. I mean, they had players who had a very small part of circle. They could afford to send one down for the jump shot. Fair play. It manages to clear it up. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know what the other guys were going to do getting out of that one anyway. But great work there from Unicorns of Love in game number 3. Right, we're going to be going into game number 4 very shortly. Our last match of the evening will be back on Erangel. So it'll be interesting to see what we get for our last one.
It'd be interesting to see if we actually get a fairly ordinary flight line, because the first game on Erangel, that's one of the reasons we saw we didn't see many early engagements, because everyone was able to go where they wanted to go. They weren't forced to go somewhere else or where another team might be. Now, game 4, teams might be a little bit more aggressive towards each other, but also we might get a bit of an evil flight line that forces people to go where they don't want to go.
Okay, so we're 20 seconds away from coming into game number 4. And some interesting gameplay so far this evening. And let's have a look now then. I think we've had 3 different winners for all 3 games, haven't we, Jammy?
We have, yeah. We've had similar teams up at the top end, but we have had 3 different winners.
Yeah, we've had Umbra, Unicorns of Love, and who took it? Game 2?
GSG.
GSG, wasn't it? Yes, of course it was. Okay, so we are now on the plane for game number 4. Let's check out our flight line. We've got some early jumpers. We're going from Primorsk just over Yasnaya towards Kameshki, Jammy.
We are, and it's not that different to our first flight line.
Not really, no.
Now, the teams that head over to Georgia Pole, they're going to have to fly a bit longer. They might struggle a little bit if they're going to fly over Everest, but they may well get vehicles and rotate round. What we might see this time is teams going over to the military base, because the flight line is a lot closer this time. I don't know. I don't know if any of these teams like to drop milli base. We certainly didn't see it in game one, nor did anyone take a vehicle and rotate down there.
Certainly got a few hitting down towards that south coast, Jammy, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
So as before, LMV take Primorsk. GSG and Execution go down towards the ferry pier and that southern area, Quarry and south of Quarry. It looks like we've got the usual suspects going across to Georgia Pol and the hospital. Unicorns of Love are actually hanging around Gatka by the looks of it, trying to find vehicles, I think.
And doesn't look like we had anybody attempt to jump down to mill base. Whether or not we get somebody attempt to, we've got. I mean, certainly got one from Nexus gatekeeping the northern end of the bridge, so maybe seeing if it's clear. But look at that zone, Jammy. So it doesn't even favour going down to mill base.
Definitely not. And look at that night target, take Yasnaya. And unusually, that far north is centre zone, so that could be a really good position for them. All they've got to do is, if the zones continue to be in Yasnaya, that they don't get caught out with it, staying in looting mode rather than going in hunting and fighting mode.
So again, we've got a reasonable separation between teams. Scouting, getting some looting, getting their vehicles sorted. LMV staying quite well together. Down in the south there. Now, let's have a look.
Interesting to see that Game Lord haven't gone towards North Georgia Pole. They're trying to hold those positions. I think maybe Robs is he going to go west towards Georgia Pole? I think he is. The rest are actually trying to hold those compounds at the moment. So Rescue do have vehicles. They're heading west by the looks of it, I think. Backsparks did make it to the Georgia Pole crates. Unicorns of Love didn't bother. They've jumped around the Gatka area. So a little bit more thinned out around Georgia Pole than we saw in game one. It was a bit too far for some of these teams.
Interestingly, Umbra have gone straight to the eastern coast over by Lipovka, which means to a certain extent they don't have to get involved in this big fight. There's no doubt, a bit like game number one, actually going to be funneled through as the map narrows, coming to in from this western side of the circle, Jammy.
Well, that's the thing. We saw Game Lord and Unicorns of Love. They took quite a northern rotation, didn't they? Around shooting range towards Yasnaya and then down towards Rozhok. But where they're closer to zone, they haven't managed to get out to Georgia Pole yet. Are they going to do that? Are they going to bother going north, or are they going to stay west? Just people establishing their positions at the moment, exactly as you say. They're making sure they're going to get their loot. They're going to start planning where they're going to go. But of course, what they're also doing is trying to see where everyone else is going to be. They know where the other teams drop. They know who's going to be going where. Game Lord will probably rotate up around the northern shooting range.
So no contact as yet.
Now, are we going to see teams risking going up to the likes of Stulber and Kameshki, really gambling far north? Or, like Night Target, are they going to gamble? It's not even a gamble. Centre zone, go to Yasnaya, good loot, good cover. But they know that there'll be a team there.
So we've got Nexus. They're coming in now from the southwest, looking to establish a presence in Circle. We've got two going ahead.
So yeah, it looks like the teams are going to be taking very similar rotations they did in game one. They obviously have their pre-planned rotation.
And I haven't really had anybody getting too close to each other at this point.
They haven't, and that's the thing where you get such an ordinary flight line and a relatively ordinary zone. Now, I think as teams start to come in from that southwestern side, and we saw that in game one, where they started to get pinched just west of Pachinki and around the area. That's where the pinch points came. So whether teams try to establish a position, the likes of Nexus, for example.
So we're here with G3, and they got somebody off as a scout, or did they jump as a 3, Jammy?
Just check, or just no, they jumped to the 3. Not entirely sure what happened there, but yeah, they jumped as a 3. But they are very split. They're going on an individual rotation. Head around just to see who's around the school area. It looks like we've got some interest with rescue and Black Sparks over to the west, just by the crates there.
Okay, we're here with Bulge Gaming. Looks like Imperial were coming in for a push on the compound that they were holding. And great work from Reset there. There's a jump shot over the wall, clears one. Or knocks one. So our friends from Imperial here, under some pressure.
In comes the nade, but the nades are being returned as well. Oh, he nearly held on to that one too.
Little bit too long. I think that was just basically get rid of it, I think.
Yeah.
That one goes into the room.
Oh, but third party coming in is now.
Taking some shots from the flank. Who's that? Was that Nexus? Yeah. So what did look like what was going to be a fairly aggressive simple push coming in from Bulge here. Now proving to be a little more challenging. And Qlash there, who we saw doing great work in game number 3. Takes some strafing fire, and he has now been knocked. So it's only easy up on his feet now. Goes for the drop shot, but instantly gets taken out from behind. So, Bulge Gaming.
We've got some more coming in. I think we've got Nexus coming in as well. I believe, or was that Nexus getting involved there? Apologies. We've got 13B and Nexus still going at the same compound. Nexus came in for the third party, and they're actually getting the knock and the thirst on the 13B players.
So rounds going into Bulge Gaming.
So it started off with a bit of a standoff, really, with all the teams, and it's descended into absolute carnage and chaos, which we absolutely love, of course. Now on the eastern side, on the western side of the zone, you've got Unicorns of Love. Now, Game Lords are rotating, taking their normal route, but GSG are still around as well.
Just having a quick look to the south here. We potentially got some action between Execution Esports and LMV. And great work as he dismounts the vehicle there with the DP28.
Yeah, beautiful work. They are out of zone, of course. Got to be careful.
And however, our friends from Execution Esports not getting it their own way, and rounds coming back. That's 2 of their players knocked now, and in fact it's only Luck who is still running around at this moment in time. So he's got 2 knocked teammates.
Puts in a defensive nade just to try and...
Got a quick look there. Here comes the over the top with the scar out. But Widnet doing the business.
Yeah, LMB, they need to hurry up now because there's deep out of zone. There's no one between them and zone. They've got an easy path in if they can get there.
So they need to get those meds in and get moving.
Now we've got a lot of teams here, and they're not going to. They're trying to get forced out like they did in the first game. We've got 5 or 6 teams trying to establish central position. So we've got Nexus, we've got Destiny, Rice, all trying to establish the position. Umbra coming in to join the party as well. So this area here, very close to where the first game finished. Umbra coming in to join in. It's pretty much a 4-way party now.
God's sake. And that was not how he wanted that to go. So Mishi, the only member of that team who is able to get away, and get away I think he should. He's not going to be able to get to his teammate, I don't think. Well, maybe. But he's got to expect some fire if he goes close to it.
Yeah, look at that. It's clever work. He's making sure he gets a visual on where the enemy is before he gets over to his teammate. He's working out whether he can make it or not.
And yeah, patient work, gets the knock with the Scar rail there.
Yeah, beautiful bit of spray work with that 4 times.
He's coming under some pressure, and PRZ there doing the business, clearing that one up for his team. So that's 5 kills from Umbra now. They've got one player knocked, but they should be able to go into the next phases of players of 4.
Well, hopefully, but they've got Rice gang are actually putting shots into them from the warehouse, sorry, the museum area. It's Rice that are putting in the shots. Look how far out to the west these guys are. Eastern Stars and Unicorns of Love fighting out in the blue zone. Unicorns of Love trying to gatekeep and hold them up, but at the moment it's just anyone's guess who's going to come out of this one.
So our friend Cap Alpha, Kapahala, doing some great work with the DP28.
So Phoenix, it looks like he's going to be bleeding out. His teammates, I don't think, are going to be able to get to him. He's in the blue. He is knocked, and no, his teammates aren't going to get to him. I don't think if they do, it's going to be.
Well, beg for mercy, having a look there, but no, I think
Phoenix goes down.
I think he's been shouted off by his teammate there. Good call.
Yeah. So Unicorns of Love, the 2 remaining players there, they are in the blue still. Are they going to try and hold up Eastern Stars? Eastern Stars, I would suggest they need to break away from this if they can and rotate in a different way. They don't need to take that fight.
So a bit of cross-compound action going on between Night Target.
And yeah, Night Target and G3.
And,
now, Night Target
G3,
actually
yeah.
were the only team who jumped Yasnaya, so they've been here the whole time, established a position on the police station to the east.
And Boyden there taking some rounds, so they've got his location. Let's check out 6 God here, giving himself a little bit further cover back in the room.
I think I just saw Rescue just get taken out. I think in the north. So Rescue been taken out by GSG Europe. Now they're outside zone, but they are making their way in. They're the only team in the northern part of the zone. Sorry. Lovely bit of lean peak in there from 6 God.
So these
really
guys
making the use of the third-party peak in there.
Oh yeah, these guys, yeah, they've been in contact. They're exchanging medium range fire, but they do have a reasonable position here in Yasnaya, and now they've got GSG off to their north. Umbra, who jumped Livkovka, they've taken themselves a position center zone, and they're all together as a 4. They have established 5 kills.
And we saw how good Umbra are at holding a position. Once they establish themselves a position in zone, they are very good at keeping it and defending it, and aggressively defending it as well.
So LMV, who jumped all the way down to the southwest, they managed to rotate in now. They're occupying a position, and they're our southernmost squad. So we've got a bit of separation between all these guys, Jammy. But we are...
we still got Unicorns of Love and Eastern Stars out to the far west, even further, out past Rozok. Eastern Stars are trying to get the rotation round. But they're deep into the blue. These guys are just going to take this fight. I think they're. This is one for pride now, I think.
So beg for mercy here, getting out a wall of smoke. Kapahala there. Is he potentially looking to rotate away from this in the vehicle?
Possibly not. It looks like he's allowing. Is he allowing his teammate? No. They're both taking this fight. Now, I have to be honest, I would rather have one of them make his way into zone and the other one try and gatekeep Unicorns of Love. But at least they are, you know, they're taking the fight.
And not managing to get the knock there with the M4 spray. But that has left Kapahala here somewhat isolated.
Yeah, they have. At least to start, they've now got a position on either side here.
However, that flanking manoeuvre has done it, and Unicorns of Love are taken out. So the two last remaining players from this team really do need to start making a move, and our next circle of players broken. That means we've got a lot of rotations having to come in from the north, Jammy.
Yeah, look at that. Those three teams coming in from Yasnaya. GSG made their rotation down. They're going to be coming in straight past G3 and Night Target as well. All coming in together. So here we go. What we can see is if you've got the high ground, it's almost worth waiting a little bit for the other teams to come in and taking pot shots at them as they rotate in. But you've got to make sure you've got an escape route.
So, Night Target looking to rotate into the northern part of the circle. We've still got G3 and GSG contesting.
And now we're doing really good work for his team, GSG Europe. He's skirting around the northern edge of zone, and he's just trying to see who's around, where's the safe place, where can his team actually come in and crash. So centre zone, we've got Black Sparks down there, team 5. They're the nearest to centre zone. We've got Umbra, as always, not far off. They're down in the southeastern side.
I think they've had a fairly quiet game so far, but they have. No, they've. I mean, I think they've already taken 5 kills.
They have.
But most importantly, establishing themselves good position in circle. And staying together as a 4 as we come into the middle part of the game now. We're down to 32 players left alive, 9 teams still contesting.
Yes, it's going to be fairly busy in this northern side as teams rotate in. We've got Night Target, we've got Rice Gang, GSG Europe, and G3, and they're going to be coming up to Black Sparks. Then to the west, we've got Game Lord. This northern side is so busy. The teams that have established centre zone are actually, there's only 3 of them. As we can see here, it's everybody else on the northern side of zone. They're the ones that are getting involved together. So with those late rotations, this is the price they're paying.
So pretty much these guys all looking to get mobile now. So GSG coming under some pressure.
Now the other side of Rice, over in the just west of here, we've got Night Target and Game Lord all coming in together. They're crashing into the same compound at the same time. So Team 19 and Team 12.
So, and that is some great tap fire coming in that's taken large chunks out of our friend here from squad number 19. And there goes the nade. Doesn't quite take out his teammate there, but he's got to be expecting an aggressive push now. More throwables coming in. And manages to get his teammate back on his feet just.
And look at that, immediately moves out. He knows where the pressure's coming from. He knows he's got to try and get out and away. Oh, through the window, third parted by Black Sparks there, I believe. So Black Sparks holding centre zone. They are really getting involved here. They can see what's going on. And they're just putting shots in through the windows.
And that's lovely there, putting in lots of hurt into these guys. That's very effective fire from quite Quite a way across the map there.
And I think his UAZ was actually just rolling down the stairs.
Yeah, you don't want that. I've been blocked in there before because of that.
So down in the southeast, we've got Umbra, and they're on the edge of zone there. The last two remaining players. Well, I think they're getting involved with Team 3 by the looks of it. But we've still got Night Target here, and they're getting involved with pretty much anyone who wants to come and join the party. Got the wonderful window glitch.
However, the nades coming in. Harpy there, and now the push comes in. But ultimately, the third-party work coming through the windows and the push coming in through the basement did the damage there. Rice putting in a great deal of fire to anybody who comes anywhere near them, occupying this northern part of circle.
They are. So the teams that are really holding the positions they're in are Rice Gang in the north and Black Sparks in sort of just south of centre. And it's Black Sparks that are really putting in that third-party work. But Rice have spotted them. They know what's going on. So it's these two teams really are aggressively controlling the central area. To the east, we've got G3 and Umbra. And then we've got Eastern Stars to the west. And then to the southwest, we've got LMV.
And there is our next circle. And that's going to be very difficult for these guys now. GSG find themselves right on the edge of zone. Umbra have got a fairly easy rotation if they follow the edge of the blue down to the south of circle. LMV, who jumped all the way down to the southwest, they should be making their way in as well.
They are, but they're coming in, they're crashing in onto Black Sparks by the looks of it. They want a piece of this. They're just behind them on the entrances to shelter by the looks of it. Black Sparks got a nice separation. They've got a player in centre zone, but then they've also got two players on the northern side of zone. In fact, having said that, it's Fluffy who's in shelter. He's underneath. They've decided they're going to put a player underground.
So we've got teams now making their way into the shelter or towards the shelter compound now. Elements of squad number 12 Game Lord still outside there. LMV still contesting, and I think that was potentially LMV doing some fire coming in to Index there.
It is, but then you've also got Octavian from Eastern Stars, just slightly southeast of this. Not far off centre zone. GSG Europe coming in from the eastern side.
And Rice also making a very effective cross-map fire there.
They are, but they're going to have to move. They've got 16 seconds, and they're the most northerly team. So they've got to make their decision. They've got to come in. It looks like Black Sparks are actually roaming around the northern side. They're trying to establish a wider position just to control a bit of extra map on that northern side.
LMV here taking up a position on the reverse of this slope here. And that's actually not a bad position, centre zone. Now, they do have a couple of elements of GSG on the high ground just off to their right. Which looks like our friends
Perks.
But
they don't have anyone behind them. That's important. So they are fighting on a couple of flanks, but not behind them at the moment. But they've got Game Lord coming in from the northwestern side of zone. But I think the players are well aware of that.
So Rice find themselves out of the zone fight to come in, but they're doing a good job as they do, and they're putting rounds into our friends from Sparks here.
Well, that's a risky one out in the open. They could have moved a little bit closer to the cover there, I think. But let's see what's happening, because we've got Nexus is the last remaining player from Rice. He doesn't have any first aids, and he goes down to play zone. So now 4 teams remaining. It's LMV, GSG Europe. We've got Eastern Stars and Black Sparks up in the north.
So that's GSG with a little bit of an overview on Black Sparks there. We've got our 2 guys, I think, from Eastern Stars at the other entrance to the shelter complex here.
They've another team that's decided they've got a player actually underground at the moment. They've got one at the entrance. They've got vehicles underground, and they're actually at the entrance. He's actually Octavian is coming in to join his teammate here.
So we're here with Hidden, and he's got a great overlook here on the GSG, and certainly putting the hurt in there. Now comes the nade.
Beautiful work there. As soon as he saw him, he took him down. No mercy at all there.
And that's great work. The rest of his team establishing a presence in circle. They are coming under some pressure, however. But great flanking work. But that hasn't cleared GSG out, so they are still a presence on their right flank. And they're now repaying the favour.
That's the problem that causes.
And they didn't return the favour there. They've returned the favour, so GSG not out of this fight yet. LMV themselves now finding themselves getting pushed, having to move towards Black Sparks. J-Pond coming under some effective fire here, and he has been knocked. Last surviving member of GSG doing his very best to come in, but he is ultimately taken out. Dead Boy also taken out, so we are down to 8 players left alive. 3 teams still contesting at this moment in time.
They are, and it looks like our friends from Eastern Stars, they are underground. They're blocking. They're doing exactly what you said. They are underground, and they're trying to block all the entrances. They've got buggies. They've got vehicles.
And that nade was a bit close. So lob nades going over the top there, doing everything they can to hold on to this high ground, blow the vehicle so he's got some use of cover. And that is some work. I think that was some work coming in from Eastern Stars.
Yes, Eastern Stars, certainly at least one of the players, Octavian, is downstairs. He's not downstairs, he's underground. And they are using vehicles to block the entrances. Stop the other players being able to get down there. So they're going to stay downstairs and go for the heel off, I think, by the look of it.
And our friend Kapahala here, he's making sure he's throwing the kitchen sink at anything that even comes close to approaching these stairs.
So they're getting ready for the inevitable push coming in from the other teams because they're going to have to. These guys are just arguing overground, and Eastern Stars are going to sit down underground just wait to see what happens.
So we've still got this fight with Black Stars and LMV ongoing, and that's working out perfectly for the 2 players from Eastern Stars at this moment in time. And there we go.
That's taken LMV out.
So we're now down to our final 5 players. And he got a look at them there. The nade goes down.
Oh, did that bounce off his teammate? I think it might have done.
Now, they've got the blue at their back, these guys.
So this is going to be a nade battle on the stairs by the looks of it.
Then you can't even take an overview on this one because you wouldn't see it. So we're going to have to...
So here we go. They're being pushed. They've got 4 meters to go to be safe. Oh, and they do manage to establish 1 knock.
So a knock has been established on Octavian. And there we go. The burst as they charge down the stairs ends it. So I have to say, some great zone control from Black Sparks there. In fact, very much controlling the ground around the shelter complex above. Our friends from Eastern Stars there doing a great job also, taking the position down below. LMV also contesting at the end. But Black Sparks do take the win. They take first place with 12 kills. In second place, that's Eastern Stars. They take that with 5 kills. And in third place, that is LMV, and they take it with 10. Got a couple of players there, Halo and let's have a look, Widden, with 6 kills apiece. I don't think I saw anything more than that. We've got Tudor there with 4.
Yeah, I think that's 6 is the highest from what I can see.
Yeah, so that concludes game number 4. And yeah, some very exciting stuff. And again, sort of division between do you go up, do you go down? But yeah, I mean, Black Sparks were controlling that above ground area of shelter there for quite a long time against numerous squads from numerous flanks. And yeah, I'd say probably thoroughly deserving of the win there, Jammy.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they really do. I mean, you can see just the kill count alone. Doing really good work. Eastern Stars, I like the fact they tried to make that tactic work, trying to block off the underground. I think maybe they did it slightly early before establishing that they would definitely be underground.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, the zone shifted, and so the stairs were still in play, and that meant Black Sparks, they could just stay upstairs and just rain down the nades. And then, of course, it's just a kill zone. They just have to shoot down the corridor.
Yep. So fantastically exciting conclusion to the to game number 4 here for Qlash Pro Scrims. So yeah, we had 4 different winners. Team Umbra in game 1, GSG game 2, Unicorns of Love in game 3, and Black Sparks in game 4, Jammy. So nice to see lots of different teams contesting.
Yeah, really good. And we didn't see one team dominate each game. We saw some high kill counts, but we haven't seen one team run away from it. We've seen teams really competitive all the way through, all the teams, and it's been a really good night of scrims.
Yeah, very much enjoyed that one. Okay, boys and girls, just like to thank all of the players. Obviously, without players, we don't have a game. Thank you to all those who did contribute in the chat. We always appreciate that. And to the guys at Qlash for putting on such a great event. As always, my most heartfelt thanks to my fantastic co-caster for the evening, Jammy. I don't jog and camp much on Miramar, Spamster the hamster. Thank you very much indeed, buddy.
Cheers, Vimes. It's an absolute pleasure. Love doing these scrims. You know that. So, yeah,
Yep.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic evening of gameplay, boys and girls. Thank you so much for the privilege of being able to cast it for you. I've no doubt Jammy and I will see you again casting for Qlash. Remains me to thank you all very much indeed. From Jammy Gaming and myself, Vimes177. As always, good hunting and bye for now.